نبدأ الآن الجلسة الثالثة للمؤتمر تحت عنوان Empowering Learning with AI Revolutionizing L&D، ويدير الجلسة مستر شريف منصور Head of HR National Bank of Egypt، بمشاركة المتحدثين دكتور ليلى الفنجري Professor of Information Systems Faculty of Computers and Artificial Intelligence Helwan University، Mr. Piotr Kozipa Head of Middle East Region at CFTE، Mr. Amin Surur Group Talent and Performance Manager Medokami Ltd، Ms. Marwa Hassan Head of Learning and Talent Development EG Bank، Ms. حنان ثابت Head of Human Resources MBK. فليتفضلوا جميعاً لبدء الجلسة.
مساء الخير. Hi, good evening. احنا هنبتدي على طول. طبعا this should be a nice fun panel when we talk about people or people development, learning, growth. Usually it's very colorful. What we're trying to say now and today in AI and Gen AI, in general, it is not really replacing learning and development. Actually, it should be adding to it, making it more fun, and making us more intelligent. And this is what we're going to discover today. We have a diversity of esteemed speakers and panelists today from different backgrounds. We'll take it from the educational part and also from the corporate and organizational part. I'll give the floor for each of the distinguished speakers to introduce themselves very briefly in 30 seconds, and then we start the discussion with the panel. Dr. Laila.
First, I am very happy to be with you. I want to thank EBI, Laila Al-Atifi, for giving me this opportunity. My name is Laila Mohammed Al-Fangary. I'm a professor of information systems at the Faculty of Computers and Artificial Intelligence, Helwan University. I've been teaching AI for the past 40 years, and I'm a member of the Scientific Committee for promoting, so I'm up to date, relevant to any research in the field, and I'm very happy to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here. My name is Piotr Kozipa. I'm the head of Middle East at CFT. So we focus on supporting banks and central banks, some government agencies as well, with understanding the impacts of emerging technologies and future trends, and getting workforces future ready, essentially. For the past few months, we've also been working on a project focusing on AI-driven learning. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with speaking about this topic, and it's super close to my heart.
Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Mansour, and I'm not strange to EBI. I've been part of the family and been here in the conference for several times. It's always a quite pleasure being in such a great conference. But originally, I'm a pharmacist. I've spent all my career, like 20 years in HR, talent development, and performance management. And currently, I'm responsible for talent management and performance management globally. I'm from the pharma, and I'm working in the pharma industry, so I can say anything about the changes without hurting anybody in the banking. So I'm responsible for talent management and performance management across our operations in the world. And probably we will dig deeper a little bit into how the differences in terms of accepting AI and responding to it across different culture. And surprisingly, it's not different from Egypt. Thanks a lot, and hope that our discussion will be helpful and fruitful for you.
Thank you. Great.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marwa Hassan. I'm currently the head of learning and talent development at EG Bank. And before that, I used to be a colleague at EBI. And I would like to thank them all for the efforts done to arrange for a successful conference as usual. I have started my journey with the learning since 2007. And I was lucky enough to work in different principles in the area of learning and development, starting with the design, the analysis, the evaluation process, and different aspects of the training. And I consider myself lucky to be working in a bank like EG Bank because we are really progressive in this area. And we are always trying to get to the bank and to our colleagues in the bank the new digital tools and technologies that can facilitate the learning process for them and facilitate for us supporting their continuous development. Finally, I'm looking forward to a successful panel with my experts here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, let me first express my appreciations and sincere gratitude to Mr. Abdulaziz and for the EBI for this conference. And it's a pleasure also to be here with my colleagues to discuss a very interesting topic where AI and collaborations between the human capital and the AI. Being in the banking sector as an HR since more than 20 years, this is a very, very hot topic that needs to be discussed, and good to discuss it with all of our colleagues here in the conference. Maybe we get some more ideas, some more information, some more initiatives. We can build on it especially for the banking sectors. Actually, as Sherif mentioned, AI will not replace the humans, but the collaborations between both of them, the human and the AI, will be a superpower for upgrading and upskilling and changing a lot of things and to cope with the trend. So it's a pleasure to be with you all here, and let us take these discussions and see how it will end it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. أنا شريف منصور. I have diversity of background, different industries basically, FMCGs, textile, automotive, different multinational companies with big local companies. joined البنك الأهلي في 2016 since then we started the journey of transformation even inside the bank. I'm lucky to be within a successful team leading the market and leading everything in transformation and in development trainings, and we'll talk about that in a second. All right, so AI is really changing and redefining the DNA of learning, development, the way we grow, and all the opportunities that we have in our life. I would like to start this interesting discussion with Dr. Laila. What do you see the opportunities and risks? Let's start with that part in applying in education, higher education, and integrity also of the academic things from your opinion. And in addition, it will be a double question. Let's start with that and work on it.
Thank you. I just want to start with the statistics I like. That even though Egypt has only relative in investments, in AI investments, relative to its neighbors like Saudi Arabia or United Arab Emirates, we are investing only 3% in comparison to them. But still, we as human resource, we are in the top 10 countries worldwide as the country of origin of notable machine learning models. So we are contributing for AI in the world in the top 10 countries, even though we are investing less than 3% of our neighbors. This is a strong indication that we as citizens are really capable, are way more advanced in our applications. We are resilient. We can be more creative than so many nations. And I believe that the major problem that we have is financial resources. يعني زي ما statistics بتقول، يعني لما يبقى احنا بنستثمر بس بالنسبة للآخرين 3% من اللي بيستثمروه، واحنا رقم 10 في ال AI readiness والcontribution worldwide. فطبعا طيب لو عندنا موارد وفعلا عندنا equitable access ل all those AI applications، لا احنا هنبقى في حتة تانية. I believe in it's not a luxury to not to use the available models. طبعا ال most popular today what I want to focus on، ما اعرفش هو كان في slides كده، لو قولي لي اعمل ايه. I'm trying بس ايوه which one؟ it's back here. Okay انا مش شايفه. I'm sorry. اوكي انا طبعا دي اجابه السؤال، بس انا مش لازم I go through all this لان it was discussed in previous panels. بس I want to add to what they said regarding why AI for us is really biased. Because, for example, when we're talking, I'm focusing now on generative models because those are the popular today. اللي هم زي ChatGPT, Copilot, Bing, Bard, الحاجات اللي هي commonly available. It is biased because it was simply trained on internet data. The internet data, the majority of it is written in Arabic. In English. 0.9% only is written in Arabic. 56% is in English, the rest is in other language. This means what? It represents a machine, as was mentioned before, garbage in, garbage out. The machine is trained, the machine learning process with AI is based on training the model. It is trained upon the data that is entered. This data, if it represents the English-speaking countries, the European, Western, American point of view, it is definitely not representing us. So that's why it's biased. They discussed there is misinformation, there is deep fakes. This deep fakes means what? Means it can hallucinate, it can give you a story that relevant, for example, to an historical leader or a certain president. and completely different than the actual truth, and very convincing. This is what we call deep fakes. I will discuss later, if we have the opportunity, how to overcome this through what we call prompt engineering, through getting optimal outputs from those models. But, of course, these are threats. These are drawbacks relevant to the model. But the benefits are way more. It will increase our productivity. We need this. It is not a luxury. It is an essential skill that every professional has to have today. So we won't look at it as, of course, generally, it is used now, but it can do so many things. I'm talking about the available Gen AIs. Summarization, brainstorming, all these are legitimate uses. Translation, drafting your emails, helping in idea generation, enhancing your language. For academia and for training and for providing, fair evaluation of those who are trained, this poses challenges. I'd like to propose some procedures and practices. Well, later we can do this. Do I go through
if we
it?
have time, because everybody's waiting for lunch, so.
I'll go quickly.
Please.
Okay. Simply, those are regulations and policies that I apply in the university. And it applies to any training that needs to take place. Just to summarize this, what we need to focus on is that first, you have to have some agreed upon regulations and policies in the various departments. It depends on how critical the data in this department is. But definitely for HR and training, it will be clear. Based on this, you have to let everyone aware of those policies and procedures to ensure compliance. You have to have some form of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in AI. For example, for me, in academia, what is acceptable is brainstorming, idea generation, summarization, enhancement of my language, clarifications. What is not acceptable is stating or using AI and stating that it is your own work. You have to properly cite the AI. You have to, if it is an assignment that evaluates your direct knowledge or skills, then AI is prohibited. Now, for example, for us, projects are developed by AI. There used to be open book exams. طبعا ده students would open the AI, they already have fed it with all the books they need, and they come up with the perfect answers. طبعا it doesn't work. What needs to be done here is you have to review the existing assessments, identify how you can change it to become more resilient to the new technology. Oral evaluation became very important now. Exams or quizzes have to be done on premises, not online, because then they can use other applications. طبعا for students, they have to be aware of the policies. They have to be getting approvals, the appropriate approvals. They have to cite the work that they used, if they used AI. They have to go through what we call cross-checking and fact-checking, because we know AI hallucinates. They have to come up with online, actual, real scholarly work supporting their research.
Dr. Laila, is this That already.
That can be applied in general.
Okay, so those are rules already embedded.
This is يعني
Practical.
I proposed this a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And it's implemented now.
So it's implemented.
Yes, and this is a published paper.
Okay.
يعني now regarding banks, can I continue this?
Can we take it in the second round, because I need to take the practical part with Piotr.
Okay.
And Piotr, thank you so much, doctor.
Thank you.
Piotr, what in applying into professional programs, what is the most promising AI systems you're actually using or implementing? The voices. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Technology, right? So in terms of AI being applied and AI applications being applied, I would say there's two parts to the answer. One is what has been done already, and it's already, so AI, when it comes to learning, has already impacted the vast majority of our lives. I think most of us use ChatGPT, OpenAI, all the models for personal research, for refining ideas, for finding answers. So that's something which has already transformed learning to some extent. I think there are learning platforms that have seen dips in the number of enrollments precisely because of this. So it's already having an impact. In terms of AI currently being embedded in programs, I would say the applications are quite limited, or the very tip of the iceberg of very exciting applications being developed at the moment. So custom GPTs, models calibrated to provide feedback, for example, on a specific skill and area of knowledge, to teach a specific area of knowledge, have been deployed. They're available within the OpenAI corporate plan. So plenty of those have been developed, and they are being applied in various programs made by individuals, accessible to many. But what's far more exciting are the, let's say, second generation applications being developed right now. We're working on them at CFT. They're also being developed all around the world at the same time. But to give an idea of that, it would be an end-to-end hyper-personalized AI-driven learning experience where, for example, through a chat, you can be assessed on your current skills. How much do you know about this topic? Which level are you at? Based on that, you can receive recommendations for learning resources hyper-personalized to exactly your level, or perhaps your organization's documentation skills are specifically tied to your job. So you're at that second step, you're given learning materials which are hyper-specific to you. You can then be tested once again. So for example, you could be asked to work on a project where data analysis as a case, you're taught the fundamentals of data analysis. You're then introduced to a project. You're given a template. You go away, you implement the data analysis tools, you use the technique, you re-upload your project work, and you're given feedback by the AI. Once again, you're given feedback and you can go to the most advanced level. I think that's so incredibly exciting and so promising when it comes to human skill development and us being able to learn much faster. So that really becomes an end-to-end. Where those solutions are currently, I would say, from most that I've seen, they're demonstrations, they're early MVP kind of prototype level, but also with the factor of AI helping people make these applications faster and faster, support coding, technical development, etc. I think the rate of pace when it comes to making these is incredibly fast. So I would think we'll start to see deployments definitely from our side, but from a lot of providers this year when it comes to these very powerful, hyper-personalized AI learning solutions.
Great, thank you. All right, I mean, when we talk about AI, we always have concerns about data privacy. How could organizations address that?
Well, data privacy is a big thing, is a big topic to discuss. But in order to share with you something that's quite different from the answers you might find on ChatGPT, I need to share something and set the stage of our concept when we adopt AI, because I've heard many people speaking about AI as a better tool for operation efficiency, and that AI will crunch your operational cost and will save you a lot. But in reality, what I've seen is not, because there is another flip side of this. We had our manufacturing sites and our warehouses, and most of our manufacturing sites are run by robotics, 100%. Where we've seen this transformation, we noticed that we've never laid off any employee because of AI or because of any technology. On the other way around, we had to reskill and we had to upskill some people. But the challenge is when you inject technology, when you have AI, you need people with higher level of skills. So you need to pay more for more qualified talents, which are in the war zone, because those talents are sought after talents are demanded in the market. So you have to compete and pay and hunt them. So definitely you have to be cautious that in order to adapt it. Actually, the less expensive thing is AI tool itself. The most expensive thing is human capital investment for this. I'm sharing this for a reason, because IBM put on the top list of their advice for any AI ethical consideration one important concept. If you have AI, if you adopt AI, you have to be viewing AI as a way of augmenting human intelligence. If it's a replacement of human intelligence, it is not going to be working this way, because if AI is perceived as a way of augmented your human capital intelligence, all the other things in terms of data privacy would be easier. Because the one major thing is accountability. You have to deal with data privacy in accountability manner. You have to deploy this accountability to people. Because if you apply a new application, you have to make sure that you get the employee consent for this. Because you're exposing people to... After COVID, many organizations used AI applications for mental health support and AI-enabled coaching. And we've noticed that people are more open to share, to expose themselves and share things about themselves to the AI, to the machine, because there's no judgment and there's no access for that. So imagine if your vendors assume ownership of data, because this is what I've seen with the vendors. They think that we have machine learning tools, so we're using your data and responses of your employees to develop our AI practice, so that would be for your benefits. So these data are embedded in our system, so it's going to be our data. This kind of assumption of data ownership is a fallacy. And you have to make sure that you have written elements are articulated very well, that you have to remove the data of your employees, and you need to get the consent from your employees in a transparent way. They have to understand how AI is working. AI is not a black box, and it has to be clarified. There are different ways of AI applications are working, and we see now Manos and DeepSeek. They are sharing with you the thinking process, the tools, the sources. It's much better than ChatGPT, which is still a black box for others. So third thing is accountability, understanding that you're bringing this technology for your people and not to control them, because many people are using AI as a surveillance tool. We're going to see the facial expressions. We will know how people are reacting, if they are working, if not. This is not helpful, because I can share you on a casual state some other quirks that people are using. Your employees will be using other AI applications to get over your control. But the genuine thing is that you empower your people. So if you use AI in that sense, you can promote accountability and ownership. The second thing is transparency. Let them know how AI is working, what are the purposes of deploying this system, so they can control the data. They can control this issue. And another thing, that you make sure that your vendors are not assuming ownership. And I would like to envision AI in their strengths, because, when the leadership invention of the scientific management has came to place in the 18th century, since that time, leaders and managers, we were trying to make human people, like cogs and machines. We were trying to promote conformity and standardization, things that AI are excelling now, because AI are faster, the machine is faster, they are able to produce standardized results, they can conform and comply. So all of these things are advantages that we cannot do. So our strength is in innovation and creativity. So the game has to be balanced. If you want people to be in control, you need to make sure that AI is envisioned in the right way. AI is not taking job. Can I ask you a question now? Have you ever come across any organization now that are laying off employees because they are adapting new technologies? Actually, they are hiring more. So AI is not taking jobs. They are replacing some tasks. And one of the examples, discussing something with Balash now, I noticed from our discussion that one of the photographers I use for some events is a kind of very ambitious guy who approached one of the companies to sponsor him. I was discussing with him how he evolved his business while AI is taking such a kind of industry. He told me, like, I found that my talent was photography, and I was helping people to become better in the picture. So when I found that AI is taking over my career, I tried to reinvent it. So he ran a new business of personal branding consultancy. So, okay, I was a photographer and I'm still a photographer, but I can change a job. And in HR, in whatever job you do, how HR can remain, can keep the job if you're not changing it, if you're not evolving it. So it's not AI taking our job. It's our responsibility to change and use our creativity, our human capability to make jobs better and more efficient. Now I'm working in the pharma industry, in the generic pharma, where the profit margin is very limited. And we don't have this kind of innovative products that are giving us more money. So our profitability and success are coming from people innovation in the operations. So if everybody is engaged to make things better, that's how we make profit. That's how we succeed, how we can compete in the market. So the more we can approach data privacy from an accountability point of view and make it clear with our people, they can help us get over this. Because in some of the panels, they mentioned data as the most important thing. And I think data is like the oil, as they said, the oil now. If you can improve the use of data, the controls, make it transparent for everybody and give them the control, you can a little bit get better with this. Yeah. There are lots of other answers you can find on ChatGPT or any AI application, but I try to share what I've seen, what I've noticed when people are using these approaches.
Thank you, Amin. Thank you so much. Okay. You mentioned a couple of times investment and money and accountability and Marwa. Okay, how can we define basically the tools for ROI in AI learning?
Okay, the word or the terminology of measuring ROI in learning in general is usually a very controversial topic because it's usually very hard to get the actual equation of how many dollars I paid, how many dollars I had back. When we say now using AI in learning, is it something that we should go for or not? Certainly we have to go for. Is it rewarding enough to invest all this money? Okay, let's think how do we usually assess or evaluate programs? When we say evaluation of training, we usually measure how participants are interacting or reacting. Have they learned during the sessions or not? Are they applying back at work or they didn't? And what is the impact on their business or the function they are operating within? And finally, is it possible to measure this, to quantify this in monetary value or in USD? When we introduce AI into learning, we are not going to cancel the previous models. Kirkpatrick and Phillips models are still there for use. However, what's good and nice and really lovable about AI is that it will empower learning professionals to show the value of the learning they introduce. Because the main challenge that usually face any learning professional trying to measure the impact of their training programs is the data. Where can I get the data? How I quantify the data? When can I collect the data? So when we start embedding AI into our learning programs, instead of measuring the reaction at the end of the program. No, I can do this while the program is running. And during the sessions itself, and I can create or tweak or fine-tune the program contents based on the reactions I'm receiving from participants. When it comes to learning, I can make more comprehensive assessment tools. And these assessment tools can be running with me throughout the program. I don't have to wait till the end to measure to what extent have participants been able to acquire or master the skill. And of course, in application and impact, it's the same. And what's more with impact is that AI, if it's an embedded program or embedded tool inside my organization that can link between the learning outcomes and the business outcomes, I can easily measure to what extent have this AI program or to what extent have this training program participated in improving the performance and thus the impact in the workplace. So AI is not going to change the way we measure, but it's going to facilitate the practice of ongoing measuring and improving as we go. And one of the major issues with AI is that its investment is really very high. In order to embed it in any organization, I have to put some money, effort, and maybe time to build my model. However, the impact that I can get and the return on investment I can get in the end is much more important when we compare the effort and money paid against the rewards I'm going to have. And one of the examples in this, for example, is an AI tool JP Morgan have used in measuring their learning program that was focused on skill building of employees in the area of artificial intelligence and data analytics. And the beautiful thing about this example is that although they have paid a lot to build their model, they were able to put specific measures that impacted the return on investment. For example, the number of employees they were able to train and allocate to specific jobs, as in talent management, instead of getting them or recruiting them from outside, which of course saved them the money or the cost for recruiting and hiring and onboarding process. In addition, the program itself, not all the employees were able to take the same pace, and AI enabled them that each employee will take it on his or her own pace, which facilitated that some of the employees were able to get to the skill proficiency faster than others and made them ready to assume new roles. So as a conclusion, yes, it is costly. However, it's important and really makes life much more focused on taking taking decisions based on proper data retrieved from reliable sources like the AI system.
Thank you, Moira. And from an HR point of view, the perspective of HR, how do you define success for an AI learning program?
Thank you for this actually very good question. From a human capital, we are all know that we are facing some of the challenges for retaining our talent, for hiring good calibers, for upskilling the capabilities of the team. But let me take you through a small journey, and I will add some on top of what they have mentioned now. As I mentioned before, AI to be introduced to the organization and with the collaborations with the human, it will be a superpower tool. This will have an impact on, you will find an impact on the environment, on the culture, will change the mindset, will upskill the skills required, will keep our calibers up to date with what the trend in the market and overall world even. خليني اقول لكم كده لما بنيجي نعين حد النهارده if we have an AI and we'll put the competent for the positions which I am looking for, AI will support ان انا identify internally before going externally. Even when I want to identify the training need analysis, which we are doing it, by doing some assessments and using the AI, it will